Good morning. Awesome. Well, I'm Steve Felson, as you said, Senior Vice President of Franchising for the Bona Companies. We have two iconic Chicago brands. Bona Beef, which you've not heard of it, is kind of like a Portillo's with a much better recipe. And the original Rainbow Cone, which turns 100 years old this year. The original sliced Rainbow Cone, an experience to try. Well, that disappeared. So welcome, and going to spend a little bit of time together. Today we're going to share some good news with you. You don't need me. You don't need this presentation. You don't need this session. You're just fine. If you want to move above fine, please pay attention. Because what we're going to do for the next 30 minutes is to give you some actionable strategies to get you where you want to go with your teams, right? Your teams are your guests, and your guests rely on your teams. So today what we're going to talk about really are three things. One, investing in internal development. I've tried to do it the other way. It's expensive, it lowers morale, it's a horrible culture builder when you're bringing everybody in from the outside. Number two, creating a culture of promotion. Not a series of promotions, but a culture of promotion where people know that their next best thing and next big thing is with you. And finally, I'll give you a couple of systems that will help you win. Some things that I've garnered over the years and created a way to win where you can create some excellent systems that save you money, create team, and create success. So these are the three things I'm committing to in the next 30 minutes. Number one, I'll give you a way to create a more streamlined roadmap to get someone from entry-level team member to brand leader or restaurant leader in your organization. Number two, we'll increase your retention if you do some of the things we're talking about by, again, focusing on the team members' next big thing. Not yours, not your brands, not your restaurant, but their next big thing. And number three, I'll give you a strategy to build a more guest-centric and actually more profitable way to schedule so that you are able to have great teams and great restaurants every day. So let's talk about the reality of the restaurant business. You've been in this business a very long time. These are actual people who work in our restaurant. I love them to death. They are great. They have lives. They have children's in addition to spatulas and POS manager cards. Unfortunately, sometimes they leave. So when we were young in the business, we thought, okay, I'm going to spend all this money and train them and take care of them, and they're going to love me and be loyal. And then they have the nerve to have a life. They have children. They have parents who are ailing in another city and they leave. They have a great opportunity. Sometimes they leave for 10 cents more an hour, right? They'll walk across the street and start a whole new life. So this is the reality. I urge you not to try and solve that. That's not a thing you're going to be able to solve. What you want to do is take care of your people the best way you can when they're here with you. And if they take that skill and that caring and that kindness and go somewhere else, fine. But the ones who want to stay are going to stay. And they're going to be great when you do. So each day you're trying to solve some issues. If you notice at the bottom of this graphic is the guest. They are the result of all the other problems you're trying to solve. But how often in meetings do we talk about team satisfaction? How often do we talk about team loyalty? I know we talk about turnover, but how often do we talk about retention? If you can solve these three issues for the majority of your people, you will actually create guest satisfaction. The most important guests in your restaurants are the ones wearing your name tags. Absolutely. If they are happy, someone else is going to be happy. When I checked out of my room today, one of the cleaning staff met me in the lobby and she goes, "Oh no, are you leaving?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, are you going to come back?" That was a real conversation. She's happy at her job. And I want to come back, right? So this is what we're going to try and solve every day in the restaurant. So how do you do that? Really, three things I'm going to tell you that will make a lot of sense. Number one, nurture your internal talent. I didn't say retain. I didn't say keep. I didn't say pay them more. Nurture your internal talent. And that starts with a mindset. If your mindset is that, hey, you know what? We can always get somebody from the outside. We want all this new blood. We want new thinking. That's great. Internal talent has a lot of things that you probably haven't thought of. Number one, each of your restaurants and your franchise groups and your corporate restaurant groups is a little bit quirky. Would you agree? There's things about your own brand that you're like, okay. But you've decided that that's okay, and I like that, and I'm going to stay. So to get somebody new acclimated to that quirkiness, they may not like it and they may go. Keep the people you already have. Second, tribal knowledge is key. I talk about it every time I talk in front of a group. There's things that aren't in your manual, there's things that aren't in your videos, there's things that aren't in your daily work that people just know. When you lose that tribal knowledge, you lose a lot of connectivity and flow in your restaurant. Nurture that talent. But how do you do that? It is mind-numbing to think that you might be washing the same dishes for the next 25 years. Or to be ringing up the same items on the register, or to be doing the same task over and over again. You have to develop people. You have to take your time and intentionally develop people. And at the same time, this is really important, be okay with folks who don't want to be promoted. You have to be okay with those people because they're great at what they do. For whatever reason, their life works that way. If they want to be a server for the next 50 years, have them be a better server tomorrow than they were today, and the day after that, and the day after that, but nurture them in some way, in a way that's meaningful to them. We've heard this word engagement a lot over the conference the last couple of days. You have to boost engagement. In other words, how do you connect them to what's going on? Make sure that they're getting what they need as a person, not just as an employee. Our learning management systems and our workbooks and our videos all talk about how to do the stuff, but they don't talk about how to make people feel great and feel important and feel valued. And when you do all this, you'll also lower recruitment costs. That's one of the benefits outside of the guest. Recruitment costs are through the roof. No offense to the 97 vendors here who are helping us with recruiting. Those are all very necessary. But the recruitment cost of someone who's already in your system is zero, and the cost of bringing somebody in is quite expensive. This statistic should put it all in frame for you. People from the outside are 61% more likely to leave you. Just think about that for a second. So how much time does your manager take interviewing over and over and over again, right? And they flip the coin, and then someone shows up in their pajamas and slippers, and you may still hire them anyway because I have a hole. That person is 61% more likely to leave you than the person already in your system. Don't go outside. Stay inside. These are the things that will allow you to stay inside. Number one, language matters. I will never talk about an employee in my organization. We have team members. It's semantics, right? Wrong. It's semantics if you don't believe in it. But if you truly treat people like a team member and change those words, it's really important. Titles matter. Second is onboarding. I don't know what your onboarding process is, but I can tell you that we made a very large change to that. We used to have this big onboarding process and checklists and okay, I got you to do that, you did that, you did that, you did that. Onboard the person, not the checklist. Just because they said they were done and they understood how to flip a burger doesn't mean they know how to flip a burger or they're comfortable with it. Ask them, are you good going on? A great strategy to use here is we have 3 sign-offs on every single task. Every single task. There's the employee or team member, there is the training manager, and then there is the above restaurant manager. Now, it doesn't mean you can't put them on the floor or in position until they're done, but don't consider them done until you had those 3 sign-offs, especially the team member. What new team member is going to tell you, no, I need 12 more days of training, or admit that they don't understand something they think is simple? You have to have a culture where they have a say in it and tell them we're not going to stop you from making money. We're not going to stop you from scheduling on your shifts. We're not going to stop you from being on the floor. We're going to continually develop you. Onboard the person, not the checklist. You heard this just in the previous session before the break. Career path from day one. I tell this story all the time. My first job was at a Ponderosa Steakhouse. Some of you may be old enough to remember what that is. I wore a pair of brown polyester pants and a cream-colored button-down shirt with orange and brown stripes, and man, I was styling. But you know what I did after I rode my bike down the street to get that job? I rode my bike back home, 15 years old, by the way. Sat on my bed with the employee handbook and my uniform, and I looked through everything, right? And it said I could be a manager someday. At 15, that hadn't even occurred to me. It won't resonate with everyone, and that's okay. But if you tell people from day one, this is what's available for you, great. And by the way, if you work in your support center, do it for the people who work in your support center as well. One of my biggest success stories is I had a guy who was a franchise business consultant working for me, and I said, Don, what do you want to do with your life in the next 5 years? He goes, man, I'd love to sell restaurants. Oh. So I went down that other path on the career path, and I got him with the real estate team, and I got him with the sales team. He became happy. But I had that career path from day one. I know it seems like a lot of work. Everyone deserves a performance review. And sometimes it should be written down. Just because they don't speak the same language as everybody else, or they don't have a position that warrants a performance review, they should have a performance review. Everybody wants to know if they're succeeding. Everyone. They want to know what to be better at. If you don't give them a performance review, and that should be verbal on a regular basis and written on some basis, how do they ever develop? Go back to the last slide. How we develop them, tell them where they're succeeding and what's next for them. You'll see this modeled throughout the rest of the slides. There's an increased level of responsibility you should give people. The best job I ever had, I did nothing. Sounds cool, right? Get paid for doing nothing? Let me tell you why I did nothing. I had a team of people who wanted to get promoted in the company, and there were no positions at the time. So I gave each of them a piece of my work to do. Not because I was lazy, because I wanted to develop them. And by the time I was done, I had a team who could do all of my work. I could go on vacation for a week and not worry about it. I had leaders who were ready to be promoted. I had people who were happy because they were contributing at a higher level. Increase their responsibility. Trust but verify. If you don't want to trust an hourly team member to take all of your temperatures, great. Have them take their temperatures and then walk right back behind them and say, hey, let me show you how to do this. But even people cleaning your restaurant, your dining room attendants, your service assistants, whatever you call them, hey, do me a favor. I want you to have you go out and clean the dumpster area. It's not clean. Come back out with them. Hey, I really like how you did this. Hey, but notice this is something we should be able to do. Get them more responsibility. It makes you a better leader. When you know you can trust and verify less often, you can do other things that are really important. You're also preparing them for that next role. You should know what they want to do before they do. And prepare them for that. What skill sets do you have to have? Give them those skill sets, absolutely. So really important that you get people on board with going to the next big thing. When you do this, what you create is culture. And culture eats strategy for breakfast, right? You know when you're in a great culture. You know when you show up and people are high-fiving. I was talking to someone in the elevator. We have a GM who's been with us for 30 years. She's done everything in the company. You know what she values more than money? Praise. Norma, this is outstanding. Norma, we just told the whole company you're doing this. She will run through 17 brick walls for us because we truly appreciate her. Create a culture. Frontline team members, we underutilize them. I highly recommend you give them things to be responsible for. We created a whole new role in our restaurant. We call it the Expo Captain. We have a fast casual restaurant with a full service kitchen, a QSR dining room, and a drive-thru. It is a lot of responsibility. Our Expo positions, we have two of them, one for drive-thru, one for dine-in. We can't be everywhere at once. We created the Expo Captain position. Is there extra pay? Nope. Is there a title other than that day for the shift? Nope. What it does is it allows the manager to choose the right person to be an Expo because it's the most important position, and it allows that person to prove themselves that they can lead. Create that for them. Create that frontline engagement. We talked about promoting from within. We talked about internal promotions. It is infectious. The benefit of promoting from within tells other people there's a chance for me. And you know how great people kind of go to great people? Well, if you're succeeding, I'm coming over by you. I'm going to hang out with you as a team member and see what you're doing because I want to be promoted too. And I want more responsibility. Or, hey, how come she got to take inventory for you? I could count. I've been here longer than she has. People start fighting for this. When you start creating that culture, the morale is better, right? And when people have this great culture and this great morale, it's easy to keep doing that. We have a Sunday tradition in our restaurants. It is a Mexican breakfast, every kitchen in our entire chain. Not necessarily sponsored by us. The team members bring in their own stuff, and they're so proud to bring in their salsas and their tortillas they made at home and their flan and whatever else it is. That's part of that culture, but you can't do that until you have the other stuff. If people don't think there's a place for them, why are they going to share their family recipe with you? Why are they going to stand there and say, you like it? You like it? You like it? Create that culture. Increase that morale. When you have people who like working there, they don't go somewhere else for 10 cents more an hour. They just don't. The other thing that breeds is trust. Your team members inherently don't trust you, nor should they. How many of you consider your team a family? Good, they're not. I work for a family business. Our founder is 93 years old. He drives to the office every day, luckily after I'm off the road. His sons run many of the departments. His grandkids are in the business. We talk about being a family business. We're not. But we try and treat each other like family. There's inherent distrust in your organization because you hold the keys to their well-being. And there has to be some distrust. But the more you can gain their trust, the better off you are. So if they trust that when you said I could have this day off for my family event and you give it to them, you build some trust. When you said, hey, I'm going to develop you on how to do this, and you do, they build some trust. With that trust comes morale. Don't be fooled into thinking it's permanent. You have to continually prove yourself to your team. And you should, not because it's a strategy or the right thing to do, but every time you keep your word, and every time you promote someone, and every time you teach someone something new, you're telling them the right things. You're telling them, I value you. Every time you listen to their problem, every time you take them seriously, every time you take their idea. I shared this at my roundtable the other day. Feel free to steal this. One of the things that I implemented a couple of years ago is an email address. It's called greatideas@bona.com. Don't use that email address. But actually do. We'll get plenty of stuff. But what that does is it is open to any team member in any restaurant, any franchisee, any vendor, anyone in our support center who has an idea to improve our restaurants. In 2025, we had 88 submissions. We implemented 31 of those. Some of them were things we were going to do anyway. Guess who we gave the credit to? Person who suggested it. A culture of trust. Do things to include them. They should know that their ideas won't always be taken, by the way. Because we should raise minimum salary to $94 an hour. You're not going to do that. Create that trust among them, though. And then you start creating that culture, right? You've created it. Now you have to strengthen it. When you strengthen it, that's when people stay. We talked about the career path. This is our career path. It's very well defined. And we don't really want step skippers, by the way, because there's a trajectory to this. Start them out as a trainer. Why would you start them out as a trainer? You have to see if they can actually handle a little bit of pushback, right? Trainees aren't always going to do what you tell them to do. Start them out as a trainer. Give them very clear responsibilities. They'll learn to teach. By the way, that doesn't mean, hey, congratulations, you're a trainer for Salad and Go. Good luck. We'll never see you again. What that means is you're a certified trainer, and now I'm going to train you to be the trainer. This is a training conference. Most of you know how to teach. Have you seen people where this is a completely foreign thing? It's like me in the CFO's office. You don't want me there because I don't understand or care to understand all the basis points, arguments. Look, I just want to make a good burger. I want to make a good beef sandwich. Teach them how to teach. Then get them to be a shift leader. Now that doesn't mean someone who holds a card in case the guest is upset and you can do a discount. Right? That's the person who's been there the longest. Start teaching them how to run a shift. Don't let them make decisions on payroll and scheduling, but involve them in the payroll and scheduling. We have a very detailed level up program for each level to go from this level to that level and the things that they need to learn. But it's not a thing where, okay, you're almost ready. You got a month left. I'm going to teach you all this. Ready? Go. It doesn't work that way. From day one, involve them in the schedule. Why do you think we brought this person in here? Why do you think we brought this person in there? Involve them in the food ordering. Get them comfortable with these things. As a shift leader, start giving them management tasks. Have them do the inventory. Don't have them submit it. Have them do the inventory. Have them check in the vendor, right? Have them do an interview with you sitting next to them. Having them start to learn these tasks. Very specific, but document what each of these things are so that you know when they're comfortable. Using that model I showed you before, team member signs off, training manager signs off, above restaurant leader signs off. Make sure they get everything they need. People development skills. How many of you are comfortable that your managers know how to do this? Yeah, because we don't really teach it. It's like on a development day, once a quarter, which is fantastic, and it's not enough. They don't understand time management. They don't understand having difficult conversations. Pro tip, I hold a book club with people. It's a voluntary book club. We read a book each week. We do either a half a chapter or a full chapter on a Teams meeting. We discuss it. In the beginning, it will be pulling teeth. After a while, you'll say, hey, can I lead the session? Sure. I did this with a group who English was not even close to their first language. They were all from Korea. They didn't even want to be on the call. By the time I was done with this, after a year, I didn't even have to choose the books. They did it all. But teach them development skills. Teach them how to develop others to succeed, not just check off tasks. And then finally, and by the way, maybe not in order on that one, they have to understand financial acumen. They have to understand, okay, my variance was 2.5%. Why? In our ice cream business, we always have a very large variance on chocolate and strawberry ice cream. Why, you ask? Great question. Our rainbow cone has 5 flavors in order. The first layer is chocolate. The second layer is strawberry. People oftentimes put too much chocolate because they're afraid it's going to fall into the cone. So we're over. Or they don't put enough chocolate, so they put a lot of strawberry, so the other 3 layers have something to sit on. We know that. Teach people how to know these things. Teach them to know their numbers. Not just their sales up and down, right? Have them understand why their drive-through times are long or short. We opened a restaurant in Tennessee. Any of you guys live in Tennessee? Any of y'all seen Tennessee on a map? Good. Our drive-through times are terrible in Tennessee, and I am thrilled. You know why? Tell me if I'm wrong. People in Tennessee move at their own pace. They're not going to be rushed. They're not going to be told what to do. Great. They're happy. We have a 4.7 rating on Google. You know what else we have in Tennessee? A 10% higher dine-in rate than we do in any other restaurant. I know that. And so I asked why. And I know why. Again, they're not in a hurry. They're family-oriented. They come after events. Am I right? But if I didn't know that, I'd be freaking out on you about your drive-through times. Holy crap. It takes them an extra 30 seconds to order. What are you doing? It takes them this long. Know your numbers. And finally, put in a mentorship program. They're not going to tell you the truth, but they might tell her or him or somebody else. Put in a mentorship program. Don't make it super complicated. No one's going to sign up for it. Hey, you're my mentor. Let's talk maybe once a week. And if you have questions, text me. Start out that way. The things they will tell and ask their mentor are unbelievable that they won't ask you. But that's the glue that kind of holds it all together. So let's move to the third thing I was going to teach you about, which is optimizing your schedule for efficiency. A good schedule actually creates good restaurants and creates this culture and creates people that have a great shift, which creates people staying longer. We're going to talk about these in more detail, but think about having a midweek schedule. We'll talk about quarter-hour scheduling. and key position overlap. There are actually 5 things. Right, so let's start with a Wednesday schedule start. One of the things I did when I first got to Bona 2 years ago was I started lobbying for a Wednesday start of the week. Why is that, you ask, if you're not doing this? Because everyone blows labor, right? Everyone blows labor. So if you're going to try and make it up, which your manager is, because they don't want to get yelled at, they're going to make it up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, when most of your guests are there. So we start on Wednesdays. So if you're going to blow it, you're going to blow it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if you got to mess it up somewhere, mess it up on Monday and Tuesday, our 2 slowest days. The other benefit was we got managers off on Mondays. After a busy weekend where you want your GM there, we got them off on Mondays. They don't have to do inventory on Mondays. They don't have to do all the paperwork on Mondays. They do it on Wednesdays now. It's been a huge win. Someone asked me this morning at one of our roundtables, did it save you a bunch of money? Nope. It made us a bunch of money. Our guest scores went way up on our days. Sunday is our worst day as a company because, one, it's the least predictive sales day. We're in Chicago. If the Bears are playing a late game, our sales are all messed up. If they're playing an early game, we have no idea what it's going to be. You also have the most inexperienced guests on weekends. The ones who come for you for lunch on Mondays and Wednesdays and Thursdays, they know you. They don't need no stinking menu. Just give me my thing, get it to my table. That Wednesday start is big. Quarter-hour scheduling. In your system somewhere, I guarantee you, we have a sales and traffic by half-hour report. Don't do block scheduling. Don't bring everybody in at the top of the hour and the bottom of the hour. If you brought people in at 5:15 instead of 5, because that's when the business is, you accomplish 2 things. If I do that 4 times in a day, I saved an hour. If I do that every year, we're closed 2 days a year, we save 363 hours. The other thing you do is by bringing people in a staggered schedule, they don't just start and commiserate. Right? If Jim and I walk in at the same time, how's it going? What'd you do last night? You believe Caleb Williams threw that ball? Now if they walk in, he's already working. I'm like, guess I'll get to work. Quarter-hour scheduling is huge. Leadership overlap. Day manager, night manager. I see a lot of this. If they don't overlap by a good 15 to 30 minutes, they should do that midday walkthrough together. Because I'm not sure this doesn't happen in your restaurants. You know the day shift? They don't do anything. They always leave me with all this stuff. That's the easiest shift. And you know the night shift? They can't clean for nothing. They don't even know what they're doing. They just want to party with their music on and get out of here. If the managers spend time together in the middle of the day, hey, you going to clean that before you go? How come the tomatoes aren't stocked? Hey, great job on cleaning the oven today. That blame game goes away. I know it costs you a half hour of management labor a day. Suck it up. Develop somebody else that we already talked about. Have them manage 30 minutes of a non-busy period and have those managers connect. Big rock scheduling. Your managers aren't big schedulers. Most of us don't take reservations. But they should schedule things like, when am I doing inventory? When am I going to have someone there to take the food order in? When am I going to do a walk around with my new employee? When am I going to sit down with my team member who is in the management training program? When am I going to do this? Schedule those big rocks. The beauty is if it doesn't happen, you can always move it. But schedule it. And finally, something I call ABC scheduling. You have A players, B players, and C players, right? You should have weekly meetings or monthly meetings with your management team to decide who's A, B, and C and discuss why. And after you do that, mix them up on the shifts. If I have all A players, that means there's some shift with all C players. And beyond the obvious problem with that, the C players never get to learn from anyone because they're always with C players. I want to learn from an A player. Mix them up. It is imperative. So look, we're almost out of time, but this is what I promised you we would accomplish today. I said we learn how to create a more streamlined roadmap from team member to restaurant leader, right? Create that culture, teach them as you go, get them those skills. We talked about increasing retention by focusing on their next big thing. What is every team member working on? Your manager should know that. And number 3, build a more guest-centric, profit-friendly schedule. Start on Wednesdays instead of Mondays. Do your quarter-hour scheduling. Do your ABCs. These 3 things will make a huge difference in your location. But here's the thing. Don't do all that tomorrow. Pick one. Start with just one thing. Be great at something, right? I don't want you to go back and fail. You actually end up worse off, right? Because you tried all these things. Well, that guy from Chicago, you didn't know what he was talking about. It didn't work. Just do one thing. That's all I ask you to do. Make your restaurants great. Make your teams great. And if you do that, you can go out and be great. Thank you guys very much.